Hi, Molly. I should be coming back soon to Rome. I'll say it on Facebook because I don't see anything happening. And if it is happening, they're probably not telling me anymore because they call me Disneyland. And if they are telling me, and they had told me, and they keep telling me, you should know it by now, especially after the cycles you sent after me. I remember during the first Masters, this song with Gabor, and I remember the girl at the age of 19, 20, 21 running. I was always running, even as especially in the first Masters. I was always running from house to house at the campuses and other places, and therefore I was very young. But I knew about The Hague. I knew I was at Disney. And I was sort of thinking of parents, because I was sort of thinking, which is obviously the understatement of the millennia. And the guys, of course, they were speaking about The Hague and about, she's not herself. And they knew about the blues. They knew she was a phenomenon after The Hague. So German airspace was speaking about a byproduct of stupid times after smashed in head on the coastlines, which most Americans don't have, the science. So what you lost on the coastlines with The Hague is not yours, meaning the Ubers are not yours. It's a cut, it's a divorce, you understand what The Hague is. A red line crossed with The Hague doesn't bring back blues. It might bring back a Disney, to tell you to your face, Scotland from Radio Global. I know you're real good, oh, The Hague, cheap ass stop mission. Nada 221 down. That's why you sent your psychos. Because you couldn't understand the science behind that girl. Before her death and after her death with The Hague. That's what 221 was telling us for around the world. Connect the dots for West to go buzz. Bring back Disney so that you can forget her in your country. Tells me you're not a country. The CIA is paying with The Hague on their soil till today. Genius. You can call me any name you want. You can call me Antichrist, Satana, whore of Babylon, Iraq Jr., whatever. They know all this shit. They know your hate. They know your cheerleaders. They've seen your cheerleaders Schadenfreude Jr. with a Dr. Parrot. There are 250 pages of extra paperwork in the Federal European Tribunal for your psycho stalkers and cheerleaders collectively against Disneyland. Okay, US? The bus. Even Disneyland can't exist for a blimp in time. 221 Delft. The wormhole to the worm of the UN of Sciences. The ship left long ago with that girl. It's gone with the wind. What are your pretenses if you could see it from the other side of China? Now you see what you are. You're not the best in science. You've been begging for science from China, from Russia, from German airspace, from Saudi Arabian Mir, from the UN. That's your history, US. You've been doing that ever since 21st century, July 20th, that you belittled to the point of Disneyland after The Hague. Came back to tell you with a lot of paperwork from Dirk and Van Dam and The Hague and the Bureau de Veritas that you're not so intelligent. And the reason they know about the blues is because they remembered the girl. But because the girl wasn't alone, and the scientists weren't alone on the coastlines, they left. They sued you to Kingdom Come and Back for me. But the balance is much worse. Those are hanging benches of Laura Quintus and Nelly Durant. I realize you don't like listening to Disney, that you're not perfect. You don't want to admit that on your soil you lost that intel. And that she actually was part of intel in the US before. And that eventually, she had her head smashed in on the coastlines, and there's the Scotland from Radio Global. Because you don't want to think. The first thing you want to do is judge. I got a PhD, I got a limousine, I don't give a shit about Disneyland. I kill Disneyland for fun, shut the fuck up. This is the US. Unfortunately, that's what you showed with your psycho stalkers and your collective cheerleading. Okay? to Disney. So they saw that when I was doing the crawlies and the crawlers. And they saw Fresno and the intelligence of Fresno for the parents and retirements. Because Fresno doesn't have sciences. No. Grazie. Fresno doesn't have sciences. Fresno doesn't have anything. Fresno is what you think it is. It's a county in the middle of the desert with jealous, envious bitches and whores and assholes. Private puppy dicks who think that they were doing a favor to the U.S. with the hanging benches, Laura Quintus and Ali Direct defending the balance, when in fact they are the terrorists. For the parents and for me. The coastlines was the real terrorists because that's where they lost the science. Meaning, they knew that they were corporates with that girl before. And the UN knew, Germans knew her, everyone knew her in Europe because Jamila was Jamila. She was beautiful. Then she became Jamila Maria, going around in circles. And then she became, after The Hague, the J-Lo concept that you hate so much after The Hague. So when they said I have the easy life, they meant it. And regardless of all the pain that Disneyland went through, and of course the crawlies, connected with also bicycle bows with intelligence. I'm 51 years old by now. That's basically 11 years out of Fresno on the little crawlies. It's a full divorce with George. George didn't have a house in New York, where the country is empty. Dhaka. George has houses in New Hampshire, in Massachusetts, where the sciences are, and in DC, there's other sciences. In New York, they also have math. In other words, the empty buildings of La Sapienza and Woolwich don't have cancer that are empty. They have space that's empty. Just like Warsaw. Poland has cancer. The brother of the mother, who was the head of sciences, and he's 96, says Polish until it's pink, Russian is blacks, and on the border it's grey. That's why cancer at Kangoo was empty with Julieta Novoa, mass media of Belgium. That's all news on the news. From Colombia. In the UN schools. Same with Egypt and Saudi Arabia. The cousin of the father's head of sciences in Cairo Sciences. He's 96. He says this is been called a Saudi Arabian mayor. That's heavy shit. The blacks, the greys. That's Chechnya by now, okay, on the ghost lines after The Hague. If you still don't know the old news on the news, around the world's connected us with West Bars with the nails gone with the wind, you don't know what the fuck happened in your country on the ghost lines. And you're assholes. Plain and simple. And your CIA with Delft number 221 is still paying for the sciences they lost on the coastlines. Not some fucking cheap-ass financial bank or cheap-ass what's that one? Dark Mission. Why did they bring back Disneyland? I hate you, bitch! I hate you, bitch! What you are, US. Even the fucking CIAs were ruining themselves from inside, seeing your cheap assholes and your fucking careerists just for the science. By now, CIA. That girl has seen the devil. She has seen The Hague on your soil. And you're paying for that shit with the corporates and the ship that was with her long ago on the ghost lines that left with her, the scientists. They made a pin-up girl out of this one, and you're sending your fucking circles. And you couldn't have prevented that shit. And that's not even mentioning Fresno for the barons or retirements. But many flyings beyond the libraries. Library. It wasn't even on the library. That's why, beyond the library. There's no library on 92, 92 and above. The mountains. How many times was it the runnings on the hills? Above and behind the hills. Some of them even beyond. The runnings. How many times back and forth? What is this? Disneyland? On her crawlers, little crawler. Fuck your ass. The third one goes here. Like this on the back of the library. And the third one for the mother is on the side because they get to Poland to Russia. The bus. Then you have your opinions. People who see Disneyland, what they're gonna say? What they're gonna say? That's Delft. No, that's Disney. And we know about it. German airspaces, you see what they're showing about America. You see, I'm not saying that the Germans are my friends, no. Or the Brits or the Italians, but the scientists. It may happen. After all the flies are running, somebody might have felt a conscience trip, after the hate. The only thing I have in common with the original girl is her eyebrows. The eyes are different, the nose is different, mouth, chat, the whole shit's different, her nails are different, everything's different. Sending me a psycho fucking shit. When they say fun, the witness that shown the was nice is one thing. It's not the joke. See it coming from China, you wonder why the CIA and the scientists left with that girl. What they gonna do after the hate? Sit there and watch the shit crumble to the shit ground. And then say to me, we lost scientists and they made blues. In other words, that girl was so fucked up advanced in science that when they smashed her head on the ground, science about project was the blues. Who knows? Which I don't know. I don't know the blues. That's a new creation. Blues. In other words, you're so fucking cheap that after smashing somebody's head on the ground, science about project is blues. Are you right? Stop begging for science from other countries. Look at the shit that happened on the head on the coastline of your own soil. Maybe we can start off further on this, but maybe, huh? Free education, the whole shit. Everyone's speaking about Nigeria on the coastline. Jesus Christ, the losses of the scientists. They deserve it, those fuckers. Rough and fucking miserable people. The burgers, everybody, man. Learn a list. Even their house. So they know the words there. No motherfuckers. They deserve that shit, boy. I'm not looking at, excuse me, the girl's head was smashed in on the ghost lines. Yeah. And I hope the whole shit left. You and the people, they got some dogs. And I'm sitting there going, what? You're an insect by now. You know what? You haven't heard of it. Just fuckers do your shit for nothing. Living on their own fucking soil with the scientists and everything. Fuck them. I'm listening to this shit since I was 5 years old. Guys, around the world and back, and before retirement, this Coke Club family like to come do me a favor. Let's just fuck out of here. Check through. Like that. You're saint. God bless you. The Opus Dei blesses everybody. Bless it. I'm not screaming, but I'm not exactly even religious, Don't start with the shit. Don't start with the religious shit, the racist shit, the ethnicity shit, please. I used to do science, like heavy fucking science. I don't even have a byproduct. The products after that, I'm not going to say that. It's under cycle. It's extra. Yeah, but of course, I made a comedy out of it because after some time it's like, you're not exactly yourself, So, Daddy, you're shit. I'm not church now, but now. Sorry. And what about the blue? What about that? I'm not church. Yes, please. Church. After the Hague. And even if there is some byproducts out there, there's some news after the Hague. They don't have that kind of science in the US after smashing head on the coastlines. Even the fucking Opus Dei is speaking about that. Jamil, Shakulo, got some luck. That's the luck. My favorite. And I live in the house with the Barons, Those guys are rolling after the Hague on the coastlines. And that was a point in history that was sold for the CIA. But those scientists leaving after the Hague on their soil. Well, they allowed it to happen on their coastlines. It's a collapse. What do I do with their fucking PhDs? Pieces of paper. I have my own PhD, sort of. As in the biological enhancements of bacteria, of carbonation cementation. The enhancements of food. But it's not exactly enough, you see. Not for the parents. Yes, and when they're hanging benches of large printers and now they direct that many flying back and forth, that was okay. That many runnings, 85, 85, that was not okay. That many more. Because there were people abroad who were like, something's gonna happen to that girl at the end of those runnings. Oh yeah, the Hague on the coastlines. On your own soil, you have the chances. So why would they be begging for the Scotland from Radio Globo to stay and work for the towns? US. Assholes. Right now. Every chances. You're not using your brains. Then you're gonna say, oh, that shit's empty on the coastlines, I hate you. Good for you. Do it yourself, you genius. That's gone long ago. The father and the mother loved each other. They say when a Russian woman loves a man, she will do anything for him. If she doesn't, well, there's church. He wasn't my husband. He wasn't my husband on the flyings. And he wasn't my husband on the runnings. As much as he wanted children. So, the cycles are what you are. You're federal prisoners. You understand what a federal prisoner is from San Quentin? Sure, you're from Fresno. Why are you in San Francisco? Oh, because the sciences are here. No. Sciences were elsewhere. And as for the corporates, your head corporation CEOs are in Europe. They're foreigners. They're Scottish. They're other nations, even Greys and Blacks. And those who are Americans, what are they doing? Oh, there was a Hague on the coastlines of the sciences. Why are you sending cycles after her? With your cheerleading bitches with PhDs, waiting for Disneyland to die. Don't you see what the fuck you are, US? To the intel communities when they saw that shit around the world with the losses on the coastlines. You can bring back Disneyland and have 200 million fucking Dr. Parrots to explain what the fuck's wrong with you. Not me. They're the... You know what they said? They called you whores, they called you bitches, they called you assholes, they called you everything. Just for me. They said, we brought back this one after the Hague was something exceptional. As Disneyland. And those assholes don't even know how to keep the filthy paws of her. Because it gives them joy to see what the fuck they lost on the coastlines. They'll beat their chest for some cheap-ass dark missioners. But they won't fucking beat their chest for the shit they lost on the coastlines. You're not a country, US. You're retarded. You're mentally retarded. And even if Disneyland comes back around the world, connected those for West go back, just to make that point, you're still fucking denying because you're fucking shit. Inside as people. This is not the intel. This is a collective of assholes and bitches. Unless you want to go into the whores. Raping Disneyland or hurting Disneyland, whatever you did to that girl. Disneyland. I don't call it rape. For me. You know why? Because I already saw the Hague. You understand what it means to have that kind of intelligence, smashed head and teeth and everything, and come back as Disneyland with the Hague since birth in the UN. Hague paperwork for missing sciences at La Sapienza and German airspace and all the speaking about it. With all the blessings. Scotland from Radio Globo by now. So you can put your fucking PhDs up your ass. Shut up, asshole. And speak to me about genetic blues after I smashed tonight on the coastlines. You're not even capable of that shit. You're not understanding even the pink and the blues. That's how fucking educated you are. You're just assholes. And that's not mentioning the father and the mother in Fresno. The blues is that girl. The pink. The Hague. The byproducts. You are so stupid. You can't even understand that part of the eggs. That's how bad you are inside as people. That you lost sciences on the coastlines of that kind, and they're not even kind before heavy science, and then come back something else, something new creation that is not the original. Hello, in any shape or formats, tells you that as a mask, even if I show to you what you lost, Even if I showed you that the sciences and the academies were haked on your coastlines, that the corporations left with that girl, even if I tell you that to your face, you will deny it. The rest of the world is not fucking denying it. That's why they brought me back. Genius fucking bitch. Whores. And your cheerleading psychos collective for me. Extras. If this is what the US is and what they show to the rest of the world with that. CIA. Forget about the Hague on the coastlines. They can attack you in other ways. That's not even anybody can in the US. What you lost, you lost. That you lost. Finito. Stop complaining about what you already lost. It's gone. It's gone with the wind. There's no wishful thinking. No prayer is going to bring that shit back on the coastlines. No academics are going to bring back shit on the coastlines. Keep dreaming that shit after the Hague. You understand that? So CIA, Delft, whatever you are, Holland, wherever you are. I know you're still paying for that shit on the coastlines. And I know that. Everyone knows that. You could have prevented it. You didn't. For the parents, well, they say prevention is better. But if you see it coming from China, tell so what US. On your soil. Literally. Because they knew. You see. Intanto, that's still not Fresno for the parents. Pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. North Pieshitz. North Turk Pieshitz, Russian. Saudi, Turk, pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. You don't stand a chance. They were born in those camps when they were 1 or 2 years old. They were pioneers in every sport they did. They were pioneers in everything as children. They were hired as D2s, come D1s very quickly, and humanitarian relief services. You don't look at work around the world, all over Africa, all over Asia, all over South America, with helicopters dropping aid around the world. They were to Iraq twice. Cheap ass. And as for Fresno's version of intelligence, you know who you are with the hanging benches of Lara Quintas and Natalie Direct defending both parents. And don't compare yourself to Romania and Poland with the Supreme Courts and rule of law. US. Goodbye. This is all news on the news for Disneyland at the age of 5. Scotland from Radio Globo. And I'm going to say the famous word. Bye. Now. It burst.